Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I have so much to tell you and to thank you for lots of celebrations that have happened in the last couple of weeks. So I'm very happy and grateful to just be able to have this opportunity to be with you and to talk about minding the mental and the importance of minding the mental. And as we reflect on why we do mind the mental Mondays, it's just because it's important for us, even though we have chosen Monday as the day to do the reflection, it's important to understand that minding the mental is a daily practice. And it is something that is practiced intentionally. So I want to encourage us to continue to mind our mental health, to take care of our minds on a daily basis, and to just continue to support each other, encourage each other, and to continue this work. Those that are professionals in the mental health space, we appreciate you for all that you do and all that you are. Um, we appreciate all the work that you do on a daily basis. It's not easy to be someone in whom people, strangers, confide their, deepest, darkest secrets sometimes, those things that keep them up at night and those things that have caused them trauma. It might not even be trauma. It could just be helping people kind of get through life's day to day, figuring out how to manage their time better, how to be more organized. Those are all aspects of taking care of your mental health. It's not only, a lot of times people think of mental health, they confuse mental health with mental illness. And while there are lots of different and varying mental illnesses or mental challenges, our mental health can include those and they can not include those. They can just include, just living on a day-to-day basis because there's so much that we have to contend with. I do also want to take some time to pause on this night and just think of those families in, I believe it was in Madison, Wisconsin, where there was yet another school shooting. As a country, we have not yet learned that guns are not the answer at all, really. Um, we just have not seemed to learn that lesson. I'm not sure that we ever will, but my prayers and thoughts go out to, and I know it's really time out for thoughts and prayers. We need thoughts and prayers and action. So, but those families that were affected by the shooting, the young girl who did the shooting and killed, I think, a teacher and another student and herself. So when we see things like that continuing to play out in our society, we understand that there is a need for mind the mental. There is a need for there being a place where people can go and cry out and get the help that they need without judgment. And so I hope that this platform will spread that message that it's time out for stigmatizing, mental health. And I'm glad that we've grown in that way. I believe that we have grown. I think that, there's not as much stigma around um, mental health services. More and more, I'm hearing people just openly saying, yes, I am in therapy. Yes, or I have seen a therapist, and unabashedly, unashamedly. And we just want that to grow. And in the faith, and in my faith context, which is Christian, there have been, we've grown in that area to understand that our God is a God of action. Our God is the source, but our God provided resources in the earth for us to tap into for all kinds of things, right? And so our God is a God of action and expects us to be um, people of action. Faith without work is dead. So, God expects us to put in the work and not just sort of slough it off as, oh, go pray about it. He's saying, yes, pray to me because I'm the source, but I am the source who will lead you then to the resources that I have placed in the earth for you, so that you have those things that you need, those tangible things that you need to get healing, to get comfort, and all of the things, the variety of things that we need as a people, as human beings. And he put us, each of us here to also be that for one another. All right. So it is the holiday season. Tis the season. And there's, a lot that goes on during the holiday season. A lot of people have different feelings around the different holidays. And then we have to also remember, those of us who do celebrate whatever holiday it is that you might celebrate, there are others who don't celebrate any of those holidays at all. And we have to have some grace for those people, especially if those people are like members of our family who decide that they don't, want to celebrate, or they don't want to celebrate in the ways that maybe they have celebrated over the years. So in the comments, I just want you to share with me, how do you spend the holidays? Like, how do you feel about the holidays even? Um, do you have any angst about the holidays when they come up? And what are your general thoughts about the holidays? When the holidays come up, how do you feel? How do they make you feel? Um, and so I wanted to just sort of offer some holiday nuggets, and these aren't new. These are nuggets that I have shared, I think, in previous podcasts, but I said podcast, which I don't consider this a podcast. Um, but I do want to kind of put them in one sort of episode, if you will, so that they're like in one place, and if you need them, you can just kind of go back to them easily, and you can just say, oh, those nuggets, I need to go back to those nuggets and make sure that I am you know, getting the kind of help that I need. And so, as I've mentioned before, um, for some people, the holidays actually are anxiety producing. Some people have, sustained traumas that they may have experienced over the holidays, that the holidays then triggers. Some people don't really necessarily they don't have the same feeling around the holidays as maybe others do in their families. And so, and yet they are afraid to have that conversation with their family members. They're afraid to sit at home. And so they go to the family dinner, maybe subjecting themselves to various criticisms and just conversation that they would rather not have. There's a commercial that comes on and where the family is gathered for dinner and the young lady is coming into the house, and as she's coming into the house, nobody sees her yet, but she overhears one of the elders saying, where is whatever her name is she married yet, or is she seeing anybody yet? And so I think that's one of the topics that kind of comes up sometimes in families, especially where people are single and who are viewed as what's wrong with them if they're of a certain age and if they haven't found that partner yet, that life partner yet, or if people are a certain age, they haven't had children. Um, those kinds of conversations and those kinds of, some families will tease people about those kinds of very personal things, and it's not funny. And it causes all kinds of like trauma and anxiety for people who feel like they have to endure those kinds of conversations. So, so I want to just talk about a few nuggets that I think and hope will help somebody. It may not help everybody who sees this, but hopefully it will help some of you as you're approaching holidays, especially if you have a tough time in this season. And, the other difficult aspect is having lost loved ones, especially if this is maybe the first or, very first or second year or so that you've spent without them. That can be triggering, and it can just cause a lot of sadness. Um, and it's something that we should all be mindful of, even as we're having conversations with people, because maybe you're not the person that people are having the conversation about. Maybe you're one of the people that's in the conversation that's causing people to feel uncomfortable. And so think about yourself too. I'm big, 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 big on taking the log out of your own eye, right? Before trying to take the speck out of somebody else's. Real big on that. Looking at yourself, what are you saying or doing that can contribute to somebody else's discomfort or anxiety or misery, even? And working on yourself to have a communication with that person to kind of reverse that, and try to do what you can to kind of help them to understand, listen, I was perhaps immature, and I really didn't mean to hurt you. And just open yourself up to having that conversation. So the first thing that I want to remind people to do during the holiday season is to breathe. And I know that sounds simple, right? It sounds like, of course, I'm going to breathe. But when I say to remember to breathe, breathing is something that we just do, right? But we don't always take notice of our breath and of our breathing patterns. And the way that we're breathing can tell us something about ourselves. If we're like, breathing like, if our breathing is not like sort of smooth and on a regular flow and it's kind of all over the place, it could be because we're experiencing some kind of anxiety. And then in those moments, just taking notice, just stopping whatever it is you're doing, taking notice, and then sort of doing some kind of deep breathing exercise that will kind of get your breathing pattern back where it needs to be. Um, and just thinking about your breath, because we don't often think about what a gift our breath is. I mean, and so a lot of times, when we're getting into the flow of the holiday season, we're so busy trying to think about, oh, what's the menu going to be? What am I going to cook? what are the gifts I'm going to get from my loved ones, and how much money do I have, and all those kinds of things. But we don't take the time to think that without the breath that we have in us, none of it means anything. Like have you ever stopped to really think about that? That without breath, we're not even here. Without breath, there is no cooking your kids' favorite dishes. Without breath, there is no, going online and purchasing gifts for your loved ones, or going out to the malls or the shopping centers or wherever you go and do your shopping. Like without the gift of breath, none of it exists. So just taking a moment during this holiday season, that understanding that if you don't have the financial means to maybe get the kinds of gifts that you'd like to get for your loved ones, and you start to feel bad about yourself, just take a minute to sit and be grateful for your breath. Because with the gift of your breath, there's so many other things that you can do that don't require money. So one thing that you can do with your breath is pick up the phone and call and check on your loved ones. Talk to them, have a conversation with them. Let them know that you're here. Be a listening ear. As I talked about last week, I said presence over presence. So be present and be the present. It doesn't take any money to just check on somebody from time to time. Doesn't even have to be on the holiday. All throughout the year, just be the present. When you are the present to someone, when you use the gift of your breath to be present with someone, to communicate with them, when it gets to the holidays and it gets to the place of, um, listen, sis, listen, bruh, I love you. I'm not financially able to buy you a gift, but just know that I'm here for you. And allow that, allow that to be the gift. Maybe, they need help with something. Go over and, I don't know, help them, clean out a closet or something. There are so many, there are just ways that you can be present with someone, and by virtue of that, be the present that they would appreciate, understanding that, listen, I don't need another thing. Most people, a lot of people, I will say that a lot of people don't really need another thing. What they need is a listening ear. What they need is companionship. What they need is um, just someone to be present. It doesn't even involve a conversation. Just, sitting wherever you're sitting, and I don't know, listen to some music, and just, just shooting the gip. Sometimes that's enough. So I think that a lot of times we worry ourselves, and not everybody. Some people have grown to, uh, I had to grow to that. I had to grow to not running up credit cards to buy gifts for my loved ones. I had to grow to that, and I got to a place where I stopped. It was like, okay, whatever amount that I was able to save up, that's what I have. This is my budget. And I'm sticking to that. I'm not going over it. And if somebody is, upset about, what if it was a small gift and they didn't appreciate it, that's not on me, that's on them, right? The other thought is that I only did this 1 year and I wish I continued to do it. Some people are already doing this. But if you are the kind of person that feels like you just need to be a part of that gift exchange, you need to get those gifts, start at the beginning of the year, when the sales are on, and just throughout the year, little by little, start just purchasing gifts for the loved ones that you want to purchase and just save them until the holiday. That's hard for me because sometimes, like most of the time, if it's something, so I also like to give meaningful gifts. If I give a gift, I want it to mean something. I don't like to give gifts just for the sake of giving a gift. I like for the gift to mean something. And so if I purchase something for somebody like in June, it's like I want to give it to them in June. I just want to go ahead and give it to them because I'm so excited because I know it's something that they'll appreciate. And so I want to go ahead and give it to them now, right? But that's where discipline comes in. And, just have a little crate or something, a little spot in your wherever you live, and just kind of fill that thing up throughout the year. And then when you get to the holidays, then you don't feel like you're broke. You don't feel like you've run up a debt that you can't even pay off in a year. Um, so those that you know that these are some nuggets that I think many of us can use during during the holiday season. Another nugget is pace yourself. Now, if you're anything like me, and if you're a procrastinator like me, which I hate to admit that I am a consummate procrastinator, and it's something that I know I need to work on, but I just baby steps, baby steps. But if you are a procrastinator or not, like it's really important to sort of pace yourself over the holiday season. Sometimes, during the holidays in particular, we like to kind of try to, go everywhere and visit everybody and do all the things. And sometimes, you just need to rest. You just need to take a break and just chill. Now, um, if you're getting together with your family members and one of your family members says, "Listen, I want to just rest this holiday. I'm just going to take some time this holiday season to I just want to relax and just rest." Don't bite their head off. Don't take it personal, like it's a personal attack against you. A lot of times it has nothing to do with you. It's not you. It's not that they're trying smite everybody and or spite. I'm sorry, let's use the wrong word. To be spiteful towards everybody. It is just what they need in that moment. Give them some grace. In fact, say don't don't try to make them feel guilty for not wanting to do that this year, and give them some grace and say, I think it's wonderful that you are, wanting to take some time, and that you're going to take this time to give your body and your mind the rest that it so desperately needs, especially if it's somebody who's kind of always on the go and always ripping and running. It's like, those kinds of people, I think very often just want to, their idea of a nice holiday is just staying at home and relaxing. Um, And that's okay. However, however you choose to spend that time and be okay with it, and be okay with others who feel like they need to do the same thing. All right. So breathe, pace yourself, be present, and be the present. Um, the other thing is there's two more things, two more nuggets, and they kind of both go together. And they are don't overspend, as we've already talked about, but that ties into being okay with being you. So don't try to outdo somebody else. Sometimes, around the holiday seasons, and even you might have people that will get you something really nice. And so you then feel obligated to do something in return, and you want to either match what they did or you want to do one better. But what is the real reason? What is your agenda for doing that? Are you doing that because you genuinely want to give a meaningful gift to that person? Or are you doing that because you're more concerned with how you are perceived if you don't? And I think more often than not, the concern is more of what will that person think about me? And likewise, on the flip side of that, if you are a person who decides to give a gift to somebody else, give them the gift without expecting one in return. Because there are people who will give people gifts, and if that person doesn't return a gift, then they're all upset. Like, well, I spent my money and I got them, this nice gift, and they didn't get me nothing. And we get all upset and all up in arms about it. But did they ask you to give them a gift? Is that something that you established in your relationship? That's the other thing. Like, establish. Listen, up front, if you have like your besties, your family members, like establish up front, okay, are we exchanging gifts? Listen, this is my budget. Or set a budget between the two of you. If you have a thing like, your best friends or whatever, and you want to do a gift exchange, do one of those like, don't spend more than X. The limit is X number of dollars. Now, if the limit is $10 and one gets a $10 gift and one gets a $5 gift, don't get upset about that. Like I bought her a $10 gift and she gave me a $5 gift. Because y'all know how we do. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, right? You know how we can get. All right. So don't be petty, is what I'm saying. Let's not be petty. That's not what the holiday is for. And as I said last week, there's no gift that we can give anybody. For those of us who celebrate Christmas and who celebrate it as the day that we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, he's the gift. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Nobody can outgive Jesus. Like we because even if you take a bullet for somebody, excuse me, excuse me, even if you take a bullet for somebody, it's not necessarily going to save their soul. It's not going to it's not going to grant them eternal life, right? Like Jesus already gave the greatest gift ever. God in giving his life for us to atone for our sin. So we don't need, I mean, there's nobody on this earth that can do better than that. So I want us to just really alleviate some of the anxiety that we get. And it's not even always anxiety. Sometimes it's like we actually just, it makes us feel bad about ourselves when we maybe don't have the same amount of resources to give in the way that our heart wants to give as somebody else. Excuse me. And so the most important thing is your heart. What is the posture of your heart? And if you are able to communicate to those loved ones that I love you, I really don't have it this year to maybe give you might have been in past, it might be that in past years you were able to give a lot and this year is not that year. Let's just take ourselves off the hook and be okay with being the present by being present. All right? So that's it. That's it. So again, the nuggets are breathe, be present and be the present, pace yourself, don't overspend, be okay being you, be okay with, do the best you can with what you have, and be okay with that. Don't feel like you're less than because you don't have the same resources as somebody else or the same ability as somebody else to give in the way that you would like to. Giving of yourself is the best present you can give anybody ever. And if they don't think so, then you know what? So be it. Again, that's on them. It's not on you. All right. All right. So this is we will be out for the next couple of weeks. I can't remember the date that we'll be back. I think I think it's the 9th, but we will be out for the next 2 weeks. I want to first of all, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who called and texted and messaged for my birthday that was this past Saturday, December 14th. Thank you for, just thinking about me because you didn't have to. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, remember that you can catch the replay not only on Instagram or on Facebook. You can also go over to my YouTube page, Benita Weathers 329. Subscribe, please subscribe. And you can see all of the episodes. We're all right there in one place that you can go and check out. So I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and happy holidays for whatever holidays you celebrate. And I pray that everyone will stay safe and that you will be present and be the present this holiday season. All right. God bless you all and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.